all of us, I'm sure, at certain points in life, have been on the receiving end of good news. And it's always a good thing to be on the receiving end of good news, especially when doesn't seem to be a lot of good news going on around us. But when you really receive good news, it does things to you. I remember as a child when I would receive good news, and I remember now thinking back on some episodes how it affected me. It did things to my mind, got me all excited. My body would feel the effects of receiving good news. It does things to you. It affects you. I remember when the news was really good, my heart rate would increase. I could feel the blood flow throughout my body increasing. Getting real intense if it was, really good news. Butterflies would begin to form and flutter in my stomach. And if it was really good, I would receive, or I'd get kind of short of breath. And that's when it's really good there. You got the heart pounding, the blood flowing, the short breath, the butterflies in the stomach. It's always a good thing when you're on the receiving end of good news. It really does affect you in many, many ways. But one thing is for sure, this is just saying again what I've already said, receiving good news is always a good thing. This week I got to thinking back on some of those good news moments in my life, in my childhood. That's how far back I went. And now specifically certain things come to mind as I prayed and prepared for today. And again, I call these good news moments that happened in my life. And here's just a few, I think about 3 or 4 that made the list. When Mom and Daddy are here today, Grandma, when I was just a child, when Mom would come home from work and announce to the family that we were having sloppy Joe for supper, let me tell you, that was a good news moment for the whole family. Sloppy Joe, Manny's, whatever that stuff's called. But we knew that when Mama came to the door and said that it's going to be a good night in David's household. But receiving good news is always a good thing. As a kid, I remember when I would hear Daddy announce to the family that we were going to the river on Saturday. It was always a good news moment for me and for the whole family. Everything about the river, in my mind, is good. Even the trip to the river was a good thing. Going to the river meant that my brother and I, this is back in the 70s, early 80s. My brother and I knew that we were going to get to ride in the back of the pickup or the bed of the pickup truck. And, we sit there on the, what do you call those, the inner fender wells. We'd sit there in the back and, on the trip to Town Creek, we'd get to hang our head out to the side and eat air. You know what I'm talking about, where you open your mouth up and it dries the inside of your mouth. And then you kind of get the wetness back and start, chomping and getting it back. And every now and then you'd eat the occasional bug. And it really wasn't a big deal, because you was eating air. You was going to the river, you were going toward a place that you knew that you were going to have a good time. But everything about the river was good. Once you got there, we got to go out on the boat and ride around and water ski and inner tube. And at some point during the day, we would come off the water and eat hot dogs and hamburgers together and spend time with family. You had friends there. It was just always a good news moment and a good news time that was unfolding there when we would make these river trips. But really, I love hearing Daddy say, we're going to the river Saturday. Receiving good news is always a good thing. I remember good news moments in grade school. Many of you can relate to what I'm about to share. But you're sitting in class and you hear the teachers, or you hear a voice come from somewhere. And it's the school secretary. And her voice miraculously is coming through the heavens, down to earth, through this amazing contraption called the school intercom system. And you'd hear like this mic being queued up, and the secretary was trying to get the teacher's attention. And by the way, that intercom system, I thought that was the neatest thing in the world. I'm going to tell you, that was cutting edge technology back in those days. It was always an awe-inspiring moment when that mic would queue up and you hear this voice come over the intercom. But as the secretary's voice would come over the intercom, she would say something like, Miss Jones, and everyone in the room would just freeze in anticipation for what was about to be shared, what was about to be revealed, what profound word was about to come our way. Will it be good news? Will my name be called? Is school being called off for the day? Has Daddy come to check me out with me not knowing it? And these are just a few of the things that teachers wonder. And then you hear your teacher say this in response. Yes, this is Miss Jones. And then with one long, pregnant pause, the secretary would ask that profound question that has caused faintness in hearts, shortness of breath, heart rates to increase, butterflies in the stomach, when she would ask this question. Is so-and-so your room? And on that day, if your name happened to be so-and-so, if your name just happened to be so-and-so, I'm not kidding. You know, you've been here. You've been there. Your heart would literally stop for 2 to 3 seconds, waiting for what word was coming next from the secretary's mouth. And then she would say, after a long, 3.2 second pause, she would say, Miss Jones, would you send so-and-so to the office? His daddy's here to check him out. Receiving good news is always a good thing. Always a good thing. One more of these. I remember back at Christmas, a good news moment that happened to me. And I can't remember how old I was. 5, 6, 7 years old. But old enough to be able to watch the evening news. Came on 2 times those years. You know what times in the evening? 6 and 10, yeah. And these days we have news constantly, but I was sitting there on the floor and the 6 o'clock news came on the screen. It was Christmas Eve, and on that evening I caught a glimpse of something just amazing. Something, a word from the forecaster. They offered this tease to those listening, to all the hearers. It was the news anchor. She said, stay tuned for tonight's forecast. It's upcoming. And also, I believe we're going to be able to pinpoint where Santa Claus is. This evening, we're tracking him on radar. And I'm going to tell you guys,